Hey YouTube, it's your beekeeper here. Let's take a little bit of a journey down the 1975 Type 1 Standard VW Beetle maintenance day. I'm going to do a really good job of blocking the tires. Watch this. Ready and go. What just happened? So yeah, I'm an idiot, but that's okay. That's clearly been established in this channel many times over and over and over again. This old 75 here hasn't really made a lot of videos just because there isn't a whole lot to be done to it. When I brought it home a couple years back, I did a valve adjustment on it, tune-up oil change, and it's just been a driver. It's really have been maintenance-free driver. Now what I should have done here was I really should have pulled this castle nut off when the wheels were on the ground. I'm not very smart. And I mentioned in a previous video that I felt both rear wheel cylinders were stuck, but that's not the case. It's actually just a rear right. And you'll see when I pull the drum off here, I test it. See, it moves. At least one side moves. But you don't change one without changing the other. And there, you go to Rock Auto, and the wheel cylinders for these bugs are 10 or 12 bucks or something like that. So it's just worthwhile to change them both. I noticed, and I'm reluctant to even say this. It took me like 2 drives to realize that one of the wheels was hanging up. The first time I just thought, oh, maybe there's just a little rust on the drum because it had sat for about a month or so, maybe 5 weeks. And I drove it around quite a bit, and then I kind of forgot about it. And the next time I got into it a couple weeks later and drove it, it was pretty obvious. And I was like, yeah, okay, we got issues. So I jacked it up, and the rear right wheel was stuck. That wheel cylinder is completely stuck solid. The reason why I'm speeding this up and I'm not really giving this the title of a how-to video because I'm not telling anybody how to do the brakes on their own vehicles. This is my vehicle. I drive this vehicle. I've been doing brakes on cars, shoots, for as long as I can remember. I remember hanging out with my dad. My dad worked on cars, so for as long as I can remember, I've been handed tools and doing brake jobs. They're like nothing to me. So I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm not going to show you how to do it. We're not going to talk about how to do it. I'm just showing you that I did do it. Took about 18 minutes per wheel, start to finish. I'm just going by the amount of footage that I have here, and I've sped it up a little bit, just so you know. Just so. The shoes themselves are fine. They're only about a millimeter or so less than what replacements would be. So, and they're dry. The wheel cylinders are not leaking. So we're going to continue to use the existing shoes and hardware and just replace the wheel cylinders. I did when I bleed the system. See, like right now, for example, here's a pro tip, I guess. I've got the bleeder valve. That's why the drip pan's under there. While I'm doing the reassembly, I keep the bleeder valve open. And what that does is that allows the cylinder to fill itself up. It gets the majority of the air bubbles out. And then I use a bleeder, a pressure bleeder. Yeah, so it's a one-person gig getting the air out of the system, but about 18 minutes a wheel, pretty straightforward. You see that there's that vacuum bleeder. Vacuum bleeder. Did I say pressure bleeder? It's actually a vacuum bleeder. It's sitting there on that back tire, and it draws all the air out of the system. And oh, here we go. See, and it works. And you just keep doing that. You make sure your master cylinder is full, and you keep drawing it out till all the bubbles are gone. And then you take it for a ride, and if you feel any buildup in the pedal pressure or any softness in the pedal pressure, then you've missed it. And you can go the old school route. I'll get somebody to sit in the car and pump the brakes 4 or 5 times and then hold, and then you bleed. That works as well. See, now, good, bad, or indifferent, I always show you guys what's going on here. You see how smart I am? I should have moved the Volkswagen over. This tiny little Volkswagen takes up no space in my driveway, but for some reason when I parked it really close over to the camping trailer, which is ridiculous. I should have taken the time. See, that wheel is locked up solid. I should have taken the damn time and moved the car over, but I'm not smart. Again, I'm not smart. Now that nut's already been cracked loose. I cracked it loose when I first pulled that wheel off to take a look and see what the issue was. So that's why that side was so much easier. The other side was fine, which is why I hadn't pulled the drum off previous. But much like the other side, the shoes are fine. The hardware is fine. I'm not replacing those because they're not even glazed. I guess I didn't spend that much time with them dragging to make an issue with anything. I do always sand the drums, and I come in with a brake cleaner and I clean anything, oils that might be out of it. But again, this side took about 18 minutes. It's easy peasy. lemon squeezy. And there's the new master cylinder, or wheel cylinder, excuse me. I do have a jack stand under this, if anybody cares. But even though I've got the hydraulic jack, still have tension on the pan, and I have a jack stand under the torque tube, I still don't put my legs underneath the vehicle. I just don't, even though my head's under there. But you know, my head's pretty hard. It could probably take a pretty good thump, but I don't want to be Lieutenant Dan and be legless. So I always keep body parts out from resting underneath cars like that. Even though I've got double wheel blocks and double safety with a jack and a jack stand. That's just my own 2 cents. But again, this little bug here, this is the original paint job. I don't know if I've talked much about it. This is the original paint job from 1975. So the patina is real. It came to me with partial patina. It's grown over the years. I think it's at the point now where I really need to put a clear coat on this car if I'm not going to paint it completely, which I don't think I will. Cars are only original once, you know. I think it's time to get some clear and spray this car out. I like the dents. I like the rust. I like it. I like it exactly the way it is. It's no fun driving a perfect car that you're worrying about every little speck of dust or road chip or something. I like driving my vehicles, but that's just me. So we're putting everything back here. I'm bleeding the brakes out again with this vacuum bleeder. And again, my head's underneath the car there, but I feel at this point it's pretty stable. It's not going anywhere, and I'm not doing any like heavy banging or leveraging on this thing. So I get the air out. We're going to put the wheel on here, and the next clip, as soon as I get this done here, we're going to go for a ride down the street and see just how everything goes. But spoiler alert, I am really, really happy. Now, right now, I'm going to get under and adjust the shoes with the star adjuster. As you would with any standard drum brake, you set the shoes until you get a little bit of drag. I usually set them tight initially, and then right now I'm going to go inside, pump the brake a few times to kind of set the shoes in the drum, and then usually the wheel is rolling free after that. And then I come back, do a second adjustment on it, we'll get everything down, let's go for a ride. Got a bad ground. See, look. Oh. We're going to look at that in a minute. Let's take it for a little ride. Buddy, this shit stops now. Woo. Alright, there we go. I'm going to find this loose ground. Well, now it's on. That should be pretty simple. Alright, gotta go, gotta run.